It's spinning. I'm just gonna wait here till 2:30 on or 3:30 on the dot before I start talking, in case any of you are sitting here waiting. Well, there it is. So welcome. I'm Susie Levi, and I sit on the Pilates Method Alliance Board of Directors, as well as I own a studio, Pilates and Fitness studio in St. Paul, Minnesota. And I'm also a business consultant that helps people with their business operations, business development, and community networking and collaboration. So thanks for joining me today. And we're going to talk a little bit about how to retain your clients during COVID-19. We'll talk for a little bit, and then I'll leave some time for some questions. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them or give you the resources that could answer them. And it'll be pretty much about 30 minutes. So again, thanks for joining in. And let's get started. So most of us are probably pretty lucky that we've experienced our loyal client base being able to stick with us during this, you know, uncertain time, things that we've never experienced before. A lot of us have been able to get up and get virtual. Hopefully you've been able to do some kind of virtual programming to pivot your business and to keep at least some revenue coming in, and some semblance of a little bit of normalcy with your clients. But being that it is an uncertain time, there's a lot of things that can happen right now that can affect your business. Not only just COVID-19, but some of the fallout from it. For example, you might have people that are sick, or if they're not sick, they're having some mental health issues because of lack of contact with professionals, or lack of contact with people in their community. So they might be having some mental illness and might make it hard for them to continue on with their fitness regime. Another reason could be they've maybe lost their job and had some income loss, or someone else in their family has lost their job, so they can't spend that money as freely as they had before. Another thing might be that people, depending on your age group, technology is hard for many people. And if you've gone to a complete virtual programming in your area, a lot of people are unfamiliar with that territory, and it may just not be something that they're good at or feel confident navigating. And then lastly, it could just be your change in business model and your schedule with their new schedule of how they're having to work from home. Maybe they have a lot of other things at home and it just doesn't work for them. So these are some possible scenarios that could be things that keep them from joining in on your virtual platform. So let's kind of just, I thought it would be nice to kind of brainstorm of like, well, how can we stay connected with those clients? And a lot of these scenarios have specific needs and maybe some different ideas that we can talk about. So let's start with people that are sickness or that have some mental health issues going on. First of all, I don't know if you have memberships or if you have class packages that you can extend, or whatever the situation is you want to think about if they need, you probably have rules around membership. And if they need to suspend, usually there's probably or cancel, there's probably a fee or a notice. I would say cut that out, be super flexible, let them suspend at will and without any penalty going forward, because this is something that again is really not their fault if they're sick or if they are having mental health issues. That's something that we can't help as just a symptom of the situation. Then another thing you might want to do is, even if they do cancel, this is a great thing to be like, okay, I'm going to check in on you. And if they're not sick, I mean, if they're sick, you can't do this, but if they're not sick, you can say, all right, you can assign a team member and be like, 30 minutes a week, we're going to have a call. It may not be doing Pilates, but it's going to be checking in, talking to them, maybe helping them figure out ways that they can move. If they're sick, not, if they're mentally having mental health issues, but you're going to check in on them. You're going to schedule a 30-minute meeting with them and to show them that, you're still going to stick with them. Maybe it's an email, maybe it's a text, just things like that to stay in touch with them. Keep them in the loop with all your newsletters, all of your social media, and maybe send them a couple short videos here and there, a couple minutes long, of little tiny snippets of workouts that you've made for them, or how to start up again when they're ready. Any moral support when they're recovered, just so they know that you are there for them. I mean, this is so important, right? Because they come to you because they trust you, and they think you're an expert, and you are an expert. And that one-on-one connection is so important, even now more than ever. So be authentic and stay in touch with them, even if you're not gaining a business relationship from them at this time. Maybe an idea for retaining clients that have reduced income or job loss, it might be different because they're able to exercise, but they just can't maybe join in with you and pay for their normal programming. Consider something like a downsell. We always talk about upselling, upsell them to the next package or upsell them to the next membership. How about like a downsell? I know what we do a lot of times is you have a certain membership maybe it's an unlimited membership. Have like in your back pocket, maybe not advertised, but how about an 8-visit membership or a 4-visit membership? That way they can still be considered a member, but then it's a little less money, and you keep them on, and they stay in, and everybody stays in a good place. Or if it's packages, maybe you sell a Pilates package for $25 per class. Maybe you give it them for $20 a class per class on the package, things like that, and try to get creative with what you can do to keep that client, to keep them active. And as I always say, it's a lot easier to work with the clients you have than to get new clients. And besides, we love our clients, right? So why would we want them to go? So I think getting creative, offer tiered pricing. It doesn't mean that you have to advertise it, but keep it there so you have it to offer to them. Another thing is you're probably doing virtual programming. So maybe some of you are recording these and keeping them, and you can put them in a library and then have access to them. So maybe you could make, what we did is we made sampler packs. So we would go and we would pick, like a different three different classes and theme classes. We have a Pilates and fitness studio, so we have bar as well as HIIT and Pilates. So we put together like a class of mat Pilates, where we did 2 mat Pilates, one bar, and then we also did 2 mat Pilates, 2 HIITs in a bar, and we put them together, and then we offered those as packs for people that are not our members, but that have been taking classes from here to there, time to time. And then they can purchase these at a reasonable price, and they can watch that little package as many times as they want and take the class. So that's another thing you could do, is offer something like that. And it's pretty easy if you're not doing it already to take, record your Zoom classes, put them in a library, and then have them so you can people can access them through Dropbox or through iCloud, and then they can take the classes. That's another way to downsell your memberships. The other thing would be, again, with these people too, schedule a 30-minute check-in, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a workout, but it can be like, how you doing, how's it going, but if they aren't sick and they're not having mental health issues and they can still work out, well, maybe you from time to time, even if it's not weekly, you have team members that just say, hey, let's do a quick 15-minute little mat session, just to let them know you care and to keep them going and keep them in good shape. So when they do come back, they won't be so far behind as well. That's another important point. And then this is something that you wouldn't do a lot, but to your most loyal, best members or participants, if they lose their job or they've got someone in their family that's lost their job, consider scholarships. I know it's not something that you want to throw around lightly and all the time, but I have done that from time to time and recommended it to other studios that I'm helping. That for that, there is a specific client that you may want to do that. You say, okay, you've lost your job. I'm going to let you keep going, no charge for 3 months or whatever you decide, or it can be open-ended, but that goes a long way. I know for me, it's come back tenfold. And again, you get to keep these people that you love so much around. So that is something to think about as well. Let's talk about those people that are afraid of technology. That's a tough one because so much changes with technology. And maybe you felt that way when you had to pivot quickly and start using virtual programming. I mean, it was a lot to get used to look at this computer screen, right, and teach your Pilates lessons. If you're doing one-on-ones, it's a whole different energy. So there are people out there that are afraid to get on the computer or to get on their iPad or their phone and exercise. So with those people, you might really have to over communicate. So you might want to, communicate clearly. You've probably put it in newsletters, you've probably put it in how-to emails, you've probably done everything you can. But stay in touch with them. Watch your class schedules, your class lists, and see if those people that were hesitant are falling off. You might need to go back, find them, and say, do we need to go over this again? How can I help you get on? I know there were a couple people that when we first started that even though we had the links built into the confirmation emails, they would always say, I don't have it. So I would always make a copy of the links, and then I would get these text messages at the last second, I don't have the link, and send them the link. And so those are the people we went back and our staff divided them up, and everybody took a few people, and we did FaceTime calls with them to show them. And then we also did videos and sent them videos and kind of stayed on them for a while. And there's a couple that we still have to keep helping out. So that's something to really be sensitive to and keep helping them along the way. I know a lot of those people don't prefer this type of exercising, and as we know, this won't go on forever. So we just have to stay positive and keep encouraging them. So that's an idea there. So what about your clients that are staying active and they're, they haven't missed a beat and they're staying with you? And I'm sure, like I said in the beginning, we all have a lot of clients that are doing that. And gosh, I'm sure you're fortunate, like I am, that they've stuck with us. And what can we do for them to give them that feeling of a VIP, that they're important and that we really value them and appreciate them? I know we can tell them that all the time, but sometimes actions speak louder than words. And so what are you doing, or what can you do to help them and to keep them? And because, after at first people think, well, this is a little honeymoon phase. We're going to do this for a couple weeks and then it'll be over. Well, it's still going, right? So these are ways to keep people active, keep them excited, and keep them engaged in your business. So I talked about a video library. We have a video library that's all of the classes. We edit them after each class and make sure we take out the chatter before and after. We pick the best classes, and then we put them on a permanent library. That whole library is available only to our membership base. They can go on their unlimited and access any class that they want anytime. So that for them is their private video library. That is not available to anybody else unless I said we've done these sampler packs where people can have little samplers, but that's all they get unless they become a member. So it's incentive that we've got people that are doing passes to maybe jump on, even though we're in the virtual mode. And it's incentive for our members to stay on at no additional cost. They get this library. Another thing that we've done with our members only is we have a private YouTube and a private Facebook, and we have little tiny short snippet workouts that we've recorded, like big balls and foam rollers and things like that, that we may not be teaching in the classes because we're assuming that people may not have equipment, but those that do can get these little extra snippets of workouts. And they've been super grateful for that. And it's really a good motivator because it's not available to everybody. So it's like a private invite, and it's really kind of nice to be able to offer that to them. We've also done where I'm just trying to think like, oh yeah, that's right. We loaned equipment out in the beginning. We had considered renting it out. We did sell some of our older balls and bands and things like that to people at a minimal cost. But then we decided that the revenue really wasn't going to be something substantial. So we loaned out arc barrels, chairs. Our reformers, we can't, unfortunately, they're too big. We can't do that, but I do know of some studios that are doing that. So that's an option. Foam rollers, TheraBands, and we loan these out for mostly one-on-ones. So those clients that were our one-on-one private clients got that extra perk of not only getting the video library, now they're getting equipment. So this is helping keep the sessions that are one-on-one exciting, because if you did the same mat stuff with them all the time, especially if they're used to large equipment like the tower and the reformer and the chair, that would be difficult to keep them engaged. So this way we've been able to stay keeping them engaged, keep them excited and happy, and it's a win-win for everybody. So that's another thing to think about if you're not already. And I know we keep thinking that this might be over soon, and in some cities it is starting to show that people might return back soon. And some of the other places, we know that we don't really have an end date yet, and it could be another 4 to 6 weeks. And that's really, if you think about it, a lot of time that you spend with your clients that you could be doing these things if you're not already. So just some food for thought on giving them some other things. And then we are working with our members and our client or one-on-one clients and giving them consults. So we had some people that were on a membership that included large equipment, it included the mat classes, and then it included personal training. Of course, they're doing the one-on-one personal training, but they're not able to do the large equipment. So we have offered them additional 30-minute private sessions to make up for the fact that they're not able to work on the reformers. And that's been a really nice perk for them to have as well, because then they feel again that you care about them and that you appreciate what they do with their membership. And it's been working out really well. And we also did free consults for all of our members and or one-on-one clients, that for them to set up their home workout place, because it is kind of hard to find that little niche where you're going to work out every day. And we kind of taught them how to make it sacred, and this is your workout space, and this is where you're going to do, then put it away and come back. And a lot of people really enjoyed that, getting that little special attention to set it up and talk about options for them. So that was another way we did that. And then another thing you can do for your current members and even people coming to classes that are healthy and able is find ways to, like, now we talked about downselling for those that are having trouble with their income, etc. Those that are doing okay and still want to stay engaged, how about some upsells? So an upsell could be more virtual programming. So, you're doing your classes, you're doing your one-on-ones. How about a workshop on self-care? That's really important right now. Or a workshop on, like I said, breathing, at-home fitness, all sorts of things you can think of. We are starting a boot camp tomorrow because, like I said, we're a combined studio. So that is something, we're doing a virtual boot camp with 3 times a week of private little workshops of Pilates sessions that we are already pre-recording, and then there's going to be the live boot camp, and then we have a dietitian on staff, so they are giving nutrition. So it's going to be this nice little thing. It's going to boost some revenue. It's got a couple people that have never done something like this jumping in. Some of the other people are jumping in as always, and it's going to be a great morale booster. So we're going to give nutrition tips, we're going to give fitness tips, and it's going to be really fun. And we're calling it the quarantine boot camp. So, because we're still on quarantine here. But so that's really fun. You could do, another thing you could think about doing is, a lot of people have treadmills at their house that are like dusty, right? And they haven't used the treadmill, or maybe a stationary bike, or maybe they have like a rowing machine. We also did a workshop on how to implement that into your fitness routine with your Pilates, and talked about how that work is really important, right? So cardio is really good for Pilates people. Pilates is really good for people that do only cardio. So we were marrying the two, and we've got that going, and that's been really fun. And people are enjoying that, and equipment that they haven't used for years in their houses. So something else to think about. Another way that's a good way to retain them. How about, you're retaining them and you're trying to keep it fun. So thinking about things that you can do, and I'm sure a lot of you have been doing this, but maybe host weekly coffee clutches, happy hours. We did a mask fashion show, and we thought about that at first. Is that okay? But we had everybody wear their mask and show us your mask and tell us how you got your mask and why you chose that you did. A lot of people are making their own masks. A lot of people are having, friends make them, and etc. So we did that, and we have a weekly coffee clutch every Saturday morning. We have a theme. Sometimes we have a theme and sometimes we don't. Sometimes it's just get on, talk what you want to talk about. Other times we have a theme of what we're going to talk about. One day it was movie reviews, favorite movies we've been watching, or Netflix, things like that. Another one was favorite things you found to do. We are allowed to go out here, so we're allowed to exercise outside, hunt, fish, bike, that kind of thing. So where you went on your outdoor excursions, and then just other times where we just talk. So I feel that's been super important. We've had loads of people that come on that call. We host it for an hour. People come on and off, and we have two moderators. We have two trainers, or some of us, two people from the studio get on and talk with these people. And it's been really fun because it's the only way we're seeing each other. So it really is a fun thing to do. We also have done some Q&As, which is another thing you can think of doing, that it's a little more formal than a coffee clutch or a happy hour, where again, we've had topics, things you're struggling with in your home studio, how to do, a better roll up, things like that. And then we've just had various, just ask us questions, ask the trainer. So that's been another thing, to engage people in creative ways and keep people engaging so everybody stays happy. And that's been really fun. Another thing you could do is host weekly challenges or a monthly challenge, and pick something, and then maybe engage them on Facebook or Instagram and have them post it on social media. You could do where you'd have, the person that posts the most win a prize, giving out your swag, and then again, a good way to advertise your studio. So that's another way to do that. And really just talking to your clients. So allowing that time before and after the class to talk to people. And I know probably during the class, if you're on a virtual platform or if you're on a one-on-one, you may mute them, not necessarily one-on-one, but a class, you might mute them so you can not have any background noise. But it is a nice thing to do, is to spend that time before and after and just talking to them and finding out what's going on. And are you asking for feedback? Are you doing short surveys? That's a great way to see what's working and what's not, because if you've got these people in a class and they're following along, you're not always getting the feedback as to what's happening, how are they feeling about the way we're doing things, would they like to see something different. So I feel like that's a really good thing. You can do those short survey monkeys. They're really easy. We send them out every other week, because if you send them out too much, people get tired of that, right, too. But it's been super helpful. People have come up with great ideas, great feedback. Also with audio, you can't watch if you are a studio owner, you can't watch every class that goes on. You don't know, you can't possibly go back and look at it. So what's going on out there, if there's been audio problems, if there's been lighting, things like that, that also help, that can impede learning for people if there's distraction. So that's been helpful too. Another thing we've done is we've partnered with local businesses, which you could do. Local business, like-minded businesses, to cross-promote one another. There's an independent health food store that we usually do, and they've offered discounts to our people, and we've offered discounts to their people to jump on our online intro platform. We offered an online intro, and we've been able to get some people. We've also taken on to each week in the newsletter and also on social. We've picked local businesses to highlight, and then they highlight us. So we've kind of got this little partnership going where we talk about each other and do offers, or just talk about what they're doing and remind people to keep patronizing them, because this is what's going to get us through, community and collaboration. And that's really, in the end, what we've built our studios on, most likely, and that's what we want with our communities as well. So it's been a really positive way to get interaction and collaboration, and the members like it as well, because then again, you're getting special VIP discounts for them. So that's great. But I guess the most important thing is to remember is communication now more than ever is so important, right? Because a lot of us are not getting that human connection. We might be on the computer, you might see one or two of the same people in your little pod, as we like to say, every day and all the time. But what about those other people you used to see out and about? And I don't know if you're even allowed to go out and about where you are. It's different everywhere. So, what is going on? And so that communication is so important. I call it going for old school, right? Instead of even texting or emailing, we went and an idea is to take your active members. I mean, if you have a huge membership list, you may not want to do the whole list of people that have been in your space. But if you're a smaller studio or wherever you are, we went back 6 months and took the people that attended at least X amount of times in that 6 months, or I forgot what the number was we put exactly, but you would know what to do with your own situation. And we pulled that report, and then we split them up amongst the staff and people that knew them and worked maybe one-on-one with them. They were going to take those people, but those people that came to classes and don't really have a trainer that they spend a lot of time with, we all split them up and we phone called them. And if they didn't answer, then we followed up with a text. But it was really great just to talk to them. And we're going to do it again here soon. We again thought we might be done, but we'll do it again and check in. Another thing is now we're going to writing little notes and sending them notes in the mail. And another idea is make a little bag, a little gift bag. It doesn't have to be anything expensive. It could just be a little piece of chocolate and a little note that says, miss you. And if you're allowed to go out, you could deliver it on their doorstep without even knocking on the door or seeing anybody. So these are just some things that you can think of. The bottom line is you want to protect your biggest assets, right? You want to identify your most loyal and active clients and attend to them. Of course, you're going to attend to everybody, but these are the people that you've got this bond with, and you want to keep that bond because you're their healer, you're their person, and they give us, right? They give us so much as well that you want to keep that bond. So reward them, talk to them often, send them workouts, send them swag, whatever, ask for their feedback. They are your best ally. And it's going that extra mile that's really going to help. And it makes you feel better, right? It makes you feel like you've got this good human connection, and that's what it's all about. So just remember, you're amazing at what you do for your clients. They're with you because you're so valuable and they love you. So you want to just be authentic. Even though we don't all know how this is all going to end up, we just know that in the end, it's going to work out, right? We got to think positive. You want to provide amazing customer service, but also take care of yourself, because if you aren't well, they won't be well. You're your best business asset. And let's look at this as an opportunity for growth. I mean, there always is, right? There's always a silver lining. And I personally have felt like I've learned a ton in the last 8 weeks it's been for us. And I'm sure you feel the same way. So I'm just going to take a look at little questions. If I have any questions, I see that Flavia is here and Frederica from Italy. Hello. Hello. And from Quebec and Argentina. Oh my gosh, you ciao. So, hi, Joanne. And we've got any questions. I'm just looking to see any thoughts. Let's see about the legal and liability is around renting equipment to clients. Christina asked that. That's a good question. I would definitely, when we loaned it, we had them sign a disclaimer and a waiver. And that we checked with our insurance agent and they said that would be fine. And also an attorney, I had them look at that, but that's a really good point. I would check in your area to make sure, and with your insurance, that you have the liability release, but go check with your insurance agent for sure. And if you have an attorney or access to one. Great question. I think that Lolo's going to send you a blog post too on that. Okay. Any questions? Yes, thanks, Christina. Ask the trainers, a great idea. Yeah, that was really fun, and we did get a lot of participation on that. So, any recommendations on a liability form? I believe that the PMA also posted one. I think I'm going to let Lolo answer that, but I believe that on the COVID-19 resource page, I would look there, Andromeda, on there to see if there is one. If not, we will get back to you on that. Any other questions? Let's see. I don't want to take too much of your time left, so I just want to go through and make sure. Yep, I think that that's all the questions. Just a lot of hellos to everybody. And if you have any more questions, you can that, and we will be happy to answer them for you or get back to you with an answer if we don't have the answer. But it looks like our time is up. I promised only 30 minutes, so this is up. And if you want to reach out to the PMA. They have a great resource page on the COVID-19, and they will give you loads of information on there. So otherwise, thank you for joining in, and I wish you all the best of luck, prosperity, abundance, and good health. So take care. Have a great day.